We are going so deep. Aw, good night, Spooky, aka
This is
Mean
News for
Burnett.
Friday, June 18th, 2021. I'm Edward Zoll. The highest-ranking Chinese defector in history may have just handed the West the holy grail of espionage. According to industry spies, China's chief of counterintelligence, Dong Jingwei, fled to America in February, along with his adult daughter, and began singing like a melodious, laughing thrush to the Defense Intelligence Agency. That's the Pentagon. That's the military intelligence for our government. We'll have more on this story in just a moment. And later, with Milo and Lauren, we have an exclusive interview with Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers, who threatened to arrest Attorney General Merrick Garland if
he's not.
Okay, we're skipping ahead to the Milo bits.
But there's a lot. This defector was so important. I think that the
Disrupt operations. The first time.
Fail with their state constitution vis-a-vis whatever their
was being fat. Our office corruption.
was on.
She's your pal, isn't she?
Do it, and we do it.
We can do again and following the updates on this. I think that they're going to have a pretty big
that
fight
Milo
on their hands
indeed.
here in keeping this quiet, because I know you're not going to stay quiet on the results of this audit. Well, thank you again,
That's
Senator.
correct.
God bless
Thank you. God bless.
Well, that is very interesting.
She's pretty cool.
Microscopic.
She's great.
detail.
She is my
she's
favorite.
Your pal, isn't she?
She's my
Okay.
favorite state legislator. Like she really is, because she is so. She fought for that seat. She got that seat, and she is actually representing the people that she was elected to serve, like their interests. You know how
She's
people
doing
get
her
to
job
office.
as an elected official.
Exactly.
I confess to deep skepticism as to whether the results of this recount will result in anything transformative nationally. But it is always heartening to see, especially local politicians, because it is typically these days only local politicians, with a little bit of
Well, I think you're,
gumption.
Yeah.
I think you're
Determination.
skeptical.
Commie Brad. Are you... Okay. Alright. Are you sure you're straight? I guess if you took literally every brain cell out of Milo, he could be hot. And like if you could erase your memory, that would, and you just like saw him and you didn't know that he like is said that like every gay kid should be sexually molested by a priest. Like sure, yeah. Maybe you could have that thought.
Criticism is healthy, but I'll tell you from the conversations I've had, maybe you could back me up in this, Lauren. I'll tell you, there are people throughout the nation, MAGA mums, as we've detailed.
Wait, Commie Brad, you're not straight? Have you had an awakening about yourself? I was saying that as like a joke, but I don't want to joke about it if it's not true. Or I mean, you know what I mean. I don't want to joke about it if like it's like hurtful.
Tell them
Yeah.
that are waiting for this report. And I'll tell you, clearly no one is going to silence Senator Rogers. We've got a state elected official that has put her career on the line on this story. Because again, you don't threaten to arrest the Attorney General of the United States unless you believe that this is worth it.
Right.
She's put her flag down on this one. And I think specifically something that
You're
people
just
should be
a
looking
top?
for is the
Well, that's
physical
cool.
evidence of fraud.
Right.
Obviously, the report is going to have to detail that. The other part is the numbers.
Floofy Shark, thank you for the
If
follow.
it turns out that enough votes were fraudulent, that President Trump would have taken the state and they still certified, I would like to know some of the information that she isn't comfortable to share yet about why the certification was forced through. Obviously, they didn't know maybe it was fraudulent.
I mean, they must basically know what happened by now.
I mean, I've spent some time in gay bars,
and we've got little
I
bits
just
of
don't
it,
get
haven't
I
we?
don't
Like,
get hit on anybody at like gay
15 or
bars.
20% of them don't have chain of custody. So there's a lot of room for sabotage still available, isn't there? Because there's always the possibility that somebody somewhere will say, well, we're not going to count them as fraudulent. In fact, we're just not going to count them at all. And the result kind of just goes, but doesn't change too much.
We'll know in a week and a half. At least partly because the audit ends. The lease on the dome.
Cool.
That,
I'm glad you discovered that
the
about
Arizona
yourself.
Senate has leased.
They're getting evicted too. Along
Yes,
with the rest
no, they
of
are
America.
getting evicted. It's the 30th. They have to be done. They claim they're making quite a lot of progress. They're staying on track with both the phases. I guess one of the phases was the counting. The second was the examining of ballots. Third to be examining of forensic data.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Again, I would be very disappointed.
I think I'm much less hot in person than you guys think I am.
If we don't get a thorough report, but let's
We're
take
gonna
Senator
get a
Rogers at her
thorough
words
report.
for now. She said a report it will be forthcoming, and again, if it shows fraud, this is going to have implications throughout the country. I was interested to hear some of these states that have come to visit. Clearly, they're visiting not just as tourists.
These people are
They're
living in like
visiting
totally
because if
different
Arizona is able
fantasy
to prove
world.
this, they may replicate
Where like
very
the election
process
is going to be
Arizona carried out
overturned
in their own
next
state.
year or something.
Let's wait to see the information, the proof, because that's what's important.
Well, I'm happy to be an island of pessimism.
Yeah, he's
so
such a
far between-
pessimist.
No,
I'm glad we gave you a
not-
space to
Skeptic.
like question
I
yourself.
have
in a way.
joy,
Pessimistic.
optimism, and hope in my heart. Just not about politics.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually very healthy. I think we should have our joy should be centered on Christ. We should be deriving our hope through our Lord and Savior. Our job is to discern and analyze the headlines, especially the news that is on people's minds. I think if we were to ask someone why they think our country is corrupt, they would point to the 2020 election. If that's the only thing they can think of, they'll
Right.
point to the 2020 election. But today is, or say tomorrow, is another day people might point to.
A very special day in the calendar.
say
Yeah, Entrama. I didn't ironically title the stream Milo's Rebirth as a Televangelist. For kicks and giggles. True News is literally a religious news channel. That is why you can look and you see Final Day books all over on the set. You see, and it's literally showing Christ coming down from the heavens. So, yeah.
that we are corrupt or crazy.
Do you want me to take this one?
Yes. What's tomorrow, Milo?
I'm afraid to tell you it's Juneteenth. Juneteenth. Now look. You already know, don't you, Pumpkin? Now look.
He just called his co-host Pumpkin. I'm sorry. This man has not magically found himself as straight.
Critical race theory. I mean, we were guffawed at, chunted, guffawed, giggled. Or you pick your tittering comedy verb of choice. We were all laughed at for suggesting the critical race theory, this batty idea from the universities that only white people can be racist and that racism is not in fact holding in your heart some kind of animosity towards another race, but rather describes a structure of privilege that helps to entrench certain... I won't even bore you with it. Well, unfortunately...
He just deep-throated his fingers. How on earth is he on this channel LARPing as a straight guy?
We were right, and we're now seeing social justice, progressivism, critical race theory, which is all really a sort of it's a bogus, pseudo-academic form of anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-Western, anti-European hatred, codified, cloaked in the language of academia, entrench itself in national institutions, as if America were not lazy enough. And if I worked for the federal government, I'd probably be quite glad of the 44 days a year they have off. But as somebody who pays taxes here, I confess I am not. And the 44th national now for anybody who's on the government. 15th, which sounds, of course, like it is a perfectly respectable and reasonable thing to celebrate, the end of slavery. Who could possibly argue with that?
Yeah.
But that's not really what any of this is about. This is
No?
really about entrenching in the architecture of America endless pageantry, not to remind us of the glory and wonder of those eternal ideals that uphold the Constitution.
Wait, why wouldn't we want to celebrate the ending of slavery? It's literally celebrating like the 13th Amendment and the success of it, ending slavery in the United States. With the little asterisk there of like obviously private and public prisons continue to enslave people, but
Not to remind us even of Christmas or Easter, perish the thought, but rather
Christmas and Easter are federal holidays.
instead to constantly remind everybody to hate each other.
It's become a holiday of shame.
To hate, exactly. Constantly remind everyone to hate each other. Blacks on whites, whites on blacks, and all of the concomitant ripple effects that come out.
Wait, how is giving everybody a day off to celebrate the end of slavery turning blacks against whites? Yeah, it's celebrating 2 years after slavery. Yeah. Like it's literally celebrating the end of slavery, which didn't occur until 2 years after the 13th Amendment.
Out from that. So this is yet another holiday that just is designed to remind us all how different we are.
Well, that's it in a nutshell, isn't it?
What does that mean? Wait. It's a holiday that serves to remind us how different whites are from blacks. Wait, why would you take umbrage with celebrating the achievement of not having any more slaves in the United States?
That we're all equal under the cross. I mean, Christians run this country and get to run the thought behind some of these bills. I think we've codified this in the system. I wouldn't want a holiday. I want to change the minds of some of these ideologues. But clearly, their intent on this is to remind us yearly that we're separate, we're different.
How?
We're on one end, one group has hurt another, and Milo, in one sense, this is a
Wait, how is celebrating the achievement of making all people equal under the law, on paper, separating people? Good night, Commie Brad. Brad, why are you leaving? Did I say something bad? Am I making you angry?
form of reparations.
And also, yes, I added the asterisk, and I really don't want to have to keep saying it every single time that, yes, we still enslave people in public and private prisons, and that's why you should be in favor of prison abolition. But, yeah, okay.
If they can't get it through a national, treasury note handed to the descendants of every African American who may have been a slave or at least been persecuted in this country, they've now got.
I know. I was thinking about that calm like a Tom.
It's meaningless. This does nothing for African Americans. Absolutely nothing at all, and probably only stokes up resentment. I mean, if anything, this
probably only stokes up resentment against the whites. Yeah, because getting a day off to celebrate really does stoke resentment. Brad, thank you for the 40 bits. You get good sleep, okay? After you do your training.
It's probably, like everything else they do, how it hurts African Americans the most. Look, this is actually personal for me in a way that most people perhaps don't know. I have 2 adopted black stepsons. You know, my whole family in America.
You're a father.
Well, kind of. I've got 2 boys that I'm going to be putting through college, right? I'm going to be in their lives for a long time, even if, my relationship has changed with their dad. But I have black family in this country. In fact, I have only black family in this country. And it matters to me what happens to black Americans.
I would be very uncomfortable with Milo being my dad. Exponentially more so if I was black. Yeah, I'm suddenly very worried for his children.
America. I care about it.
Oh, sure.
And I like to tell edgy jokes. And sometimes people at home are sort of, that man's got some funny opinions about things. But when all said and done, truthfully, it really matters personally to me what happens to black America. And whether it's through...
Yeah, that's why I'm against celebrating when when the last black person was officially released from slavery in the United States. goodness.
Democrat malevolence or Republican inaction.
He is
this
such
is
a
not the way
creep.
to improve the lot of a group of people in this country who have been serially abused.
Yeah,
not to say they don't.
Not even in 20 years, in like 15 years. Like, wait, why did my dad say it was like I should have been raped by clergymen? Wait, why did that happen?
And have serious problems they need to fix themselves. There are extraordinary things that only black people could fix for themselves, which would solve most of their problems. But you can't ignore the consequences of decades of Democrat social engineering designed to impoverish and immiserate the black community.
Yeah, kind of like how critical race theory talks about how you can't ignore centuries of institutional enslavement and denial of property rights in a capitalist system, and then another 100 years of denial of equal access to services and enfranchisement. Kind of like how you can't ignore all of that, even if you took everything you're saying at face value as true. You can't ignore the even longer period of time that black people were disenfranchised and had their lives ruined systematically.
To rip apart the family, to educate poorly, to institute racial grievance, to provide these ready-made explanations for everything that's wrong with every black person's life in America. It's the white man. I mean, it's sickening, because what it does is, and really the only effect of it, is to rip the races apart and to keep the black man down. And this matters to me because I've got a vested interest in the success of the two young men who, I've taken responsibility for, and
God, I would love to debate Milo. I would love to debate him. Like, he's such a piece of trash.
I don't want to see them enter into their 20s in a world where every American is constantly reminded of what separates us, which, when all said and done, is a lot more trivial and insubstantial and unimportant than what unites us.
Yeah, just forget about that 400 years of slavery based on the color of your skin and the codification of the transatlantic slave trade. Just forget about all that stuff. It'd be really inconvenient for you to remember.
Which is
Milo has always been trash.
It's believing in the Constitution or whatever, or whether it's just being ordinary, compassionate human beings who have love in their hearts for others, right? Which is how most people, I insist on believing, do feel about their fellow man, right? And this breaks my heart in a way, because what it shows is the complete victory of divisive and poisonous race baiting, even over the Republican Party. What was it, 18 Republicans didn't sign on for this, and all the rest of them dutifully said, yes, I'm a bad white man, I'll sign. It's awful, it's pathetic, it's shameful, it's disgraceful, and the fact that the Republican Party has been manipulated and maneuvered.
Celebrating the end of slavery is disgraceful. Okay, dude.
Into, if you say it's for the blacks, or you say it's for the Hispanics, or you say it's for whatever, they'll just kind of sign so they don't get, so they don't get mean tweets about them online. It is disgusting and deplorable and pathetic, and it makes black people's lives worse.
Well, clearly the kowtowing isn't out of ignorance. So what I'll say to our elected officials
has the woman at the table said
your
anything
constituency
once?
Doesn't consider you to be racist. You don't have to sign a bill, and every bill that comes before you that has you virtue signaling that you're not a white supremacist, a Nazi, or anything that your enemies are labeling you as. And when signing these bills, you mentioned the Republicans that signed it, you have to identify the fact that to make a holiday to remember the horror of slavery in the 1860s, because in this case it was the abolishment of slavery in Texas. That's the basis of this holiday. That itself, you think that an African American who actually was hurt by their family was involved in this, and generational pain, if we're going to believe that, came through. You think that a holiday is going to make that better, heal the wound?
I'll tell you what we'll do.
It's ridiculous.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
It's like
or you could maybe say that it's acknowledging that we achieved something that was fundamentally good in America. Kind of like how we celebrate like the 4th of July and like the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and we celebrate things like that. Even though you could flip it around and be like, wow, you're celebrating the Declaration of Independence? A lot of people died during that war. A lot of Americans died during that war. How dare you? How dare you make light of their sacrifice by celebrating the signing of the Declaration of Independence? Like, that's basically what they're doing. It's basically what they're doing.
Giving someone who's been shot a cupcake.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make the federal government on which you rely, because we have made sure that you and your family have no education, no prospects, no ability to join the world.
But you get a holiday.
No. We'll make the federal government on which we have insisted that your community will rely even less efficient and even less able to serve you and even less able. And look,
they'll be shut down.
Working 2 jobs, and it's like, oh, this is the only day I can get to the DMV. Oh my, Juneteenth. You know, how does this help ordinary people? I mean, if I want to go for a visa appointment in the DMV, my lawyer will phone up and make an appointment, and I'll, be ushered into some private room and get it all done, all the rest of it, and it's all fine because I'm some privileged. Oh, no,
Yeah,
sorry.
Milo.
He's all high and mighty because it's his straight anniversary.
I'm just saying. With blessed and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But this hurts people who don't have those kinds of privileges and that sort of access and can't pick up the phone to anybody, who are working 2 jobs, who, by the way, if they get a boyfriend, get their house taken away, because that's how demented and depraved the welfare system is in this country. If you're a young black mother and you want to do the best possible.
Just as an FYI, more white people in America are on welfare than black people. Just throwing that out there.
Thing for your kids by getting into a monogamous relationship with a new guy. I mean, I know this is not ideal and all the rest of it, but real life is real life. You want to get into another guy, provide them with a father figure. You lose your house, you lose your flat, you lose your benefit. I mean, what kind of a system does this to human beings? The American one. And on the one day off, oh no, the DMV's closed again. It's just making the system that they rely on even worse. That's all it does.
Well, I think the most challenging thing about these holidays, first of all, you force the establishment media, I don't know, you have to force them per se, am I correct that to say you give them the opportunity to make an entire week of coverage about this wonderful day. It's like a Martin Luther King Day.
How long till Kwanzaa?
Oh boy.
How long till Kwanzaa? You know about Kwanzaa?
The point is that they're telling.
Yeah, I've talked to Black Americans, and they're like, I don't even think it's a real holiday.
Because
like they don't even celebrate.
It's not a real holiday.
Like, I don't know what it is. Really.
The holidays are not for them. It's for the establishment. It's for the deep state. If we really wanted to set aside time, maybe something would be productive instead of putting a holiday, is set aside time to actually attempt to address the fatherless epidemic among African Americans, the gang culture.
Well, if you wanted to address the fatherless epidemic among African Americans, a really good way to start would be to decriminalize drugs and to end the drug war and release people in prison who are there for non-violent petty drug crimes. Because guess what? That represents over 50% of the U.S. prison population. Where guess what? A lot of the fathers are winding up.
Culture. The notion that welfare will solve all our issues in the urban cities. And you think about this too.
Also, I love, again, how they keep talking about how welfare is urban. Welfare is for the blacks. More white people proportionally are on welfare than black people are. By some pretty large margins. So here's an article from 2018. So this right here is the survey poll of what people thought welfare was among different groups. But it turns out, let's take a look. Medicaid had more than 70 million beneficiaries in 2016, of whom 43% were white, and 18% were black, and 30% were Hispanic. Of 43 million food stamp recipients that year, 36.2% were white, 25.6% were black, and 17.2% were Hispanic, 15.5% unknown. So, yeah. No, it turns out that, yeah, it's Much more white people proportionally use these services. Let's see. Yeah.
What's with all the Planned Parenthood clinics that are being placed in the vicinity of African American communities?
They're not.
Well, they're being placed in urban areas because a lot of people live in urban areas. It's not that difficult to figure out. Kind of like how hospitals tend to be placed in places where there are lots of people. It's kind of like that.
Taking Juneteenth off.
No, they're probably adding
they're still
shifts.
they're still
adding
merrily
shifts that day.
murdering black babies. But how nice for the FBI, in between their busy schedule of agitation, incitement, infiltration, and recruiting informants to gin up social unrest, further undermining the harmony and unity of the country. How nice they get extra day
Yeah,
off.
Lord Luck.
Bravo. Are you
He's a
kidding me?
televangelist now.
No, I tell you that there are issues.
There are
obviously
issues.
violence. I'll say one. I have to say there are issues. One of the issues is the violence. There have been countless videos which we've just hated to watch of elderly, minorities, people being cold clocked in New York, Atlanta, Chicago.
Cold clocking.
That's when someone comes up to you, like this man's doing right here,
Yep.
just punches you in the face, knocks you out.
That's
You
cold.
get knocked out, Milo. Get the punches and even the damage. It's the fall that hurts you.
That's called cold clocking.
Cold clocking. Well, in this sense, this man
Look at this.
bullying,
Look at this threatener.
threatening, and then stealing. This man took an elderly man's walker, an 82-year-old man who just went into Manhattan
Would
to
you get
get.
on the street for a walker?
I think it was probably the fact that he fought back.
Well, no, this person's probably mentally ill. Or doing some kind of gang initiation or something. Like, honestly, we probably just shouldn't speculate what the reasoning was. Because stealing a cane doesn't make sense. Neither does assaulting an old man. It is really gross and disgusting. And I would wager a guess, though, that this person needs some mental health help. You know? Oh, I've heard of cold clocking. I've never heard cold cocking.
Took what he could take, and now this man has no way to get home. But this is something that happened. This is the NYPD asking for
Yes, they are essentially doing 1350 right now, just without the 13 bit.
information. They're offering a $3,500 reward for this case. The reason why we have animosity and friction in the cities is not based on racism. It's based on the fear that this is going to happen to my grandparents.
Well, it is based on racism in the fact that the reason a lot of these crimes happen is because of the poor social safety nets we have in place for people in general. Like, we know that poverty causes crime of all kinds to go up, but especially violent crime, because people are put into more and more desperate situations and are willing to do things to help themselves and their families survive that they wouldn't otherwise be willing to do. And so, if you do things like decommodify housing, give people places to live so they're not homeless, decommodify food so people aren't starving to death, you know, stuff like that fundamentally improves the lot of people who are at the bottom of our society and reduces violent crime because they know no matter what happens, if they lose their job, if they're late to work and they lose their job one day, they're not going to be on the street dying and having to sleep over a vent.
It can happen to you and me. And you have to ask, why is it happening? Why would someone do that to another human being? These are the real issues I think we face as a country.
American citizens are being taught to hate each other on the basis of gender, sexual orientation, skin color. They are being signaled that it is open season on other groups, most specifically on straight white male Christians particularly, but everybody.
Straight white male Christians? Wait, the poor oppressed straight male white Christian, I forgot.
Really, you're up for it too. And sent messages.
This woman hasn't
through
said anything.
Sham trials, like the Derek Chauvin trial, and the Roger Stone trial. That
Wait,
there is.
Derek Chauvin was a sham trial? I'm sorry, we have a 10-minute long video of him choking somebody out until they died.
Is a two-tier justice system. We've kind of known that since the OJ trial, but it is becoming so odiously and unavoidably explicit now.
Well, the police were still policing before, during, and after the OJ trial. The issue I think we face now is police departments.
Yeah, police definitely aren't policing now. That's why we only get news of police murdering one unarmed black person every week.
As Kerry covered, in Oregon, Portland's one of these places that the police are saying, I'm not going to show up to work anymore. You want a crowd control unit? Why would I serve on this? You're prosecuting one of the members for doing his job. And look, when these riots or these
citation needed.
These mobs gather, obviously after dark, it's not even considered to be a crime now under our Attorney General, but to the average citizen.
I'm sorry, does freedom of assembly not apply if it's dark outside?
Citizen who might want to go to work the next
San Francisco?
day. Yeah, theft
Anything
in San
under
Francisco.
$950, they won't even prosecute, which of course is great for big corporations.
Okay, first off, the police will still prosecute you for theft under $950. Like, it's just not a felony. It's just not a felony. It's a misdemeanor. Like, it's still illegal. The police will still arrest you. It's just not worth it for a security guard to put their life on the line to arrest someone who's stealing fucking shampoo.
Walmart loves that.
Hey, Wolfie Tracer Bullet. Yeah, like, first off, I really do need to emphasize this. People who are talking about, like, in San Francisco, you can just go into a place and steal $900 worth of merchandise. And it's totally fine. They won't even stop you. Well, like, yeah, the security guards won't stop you. Like, yeah, they won't. But you're still committing a crime, and police will still arrest you if they can. You just won't be charged with a felony until you've done it 3 times. Like, it's still illegal.
Oh, sure, they have insurance.
What's the long-term effect? Yeah, of course, they've got insurance. What's the long-term effect? All the independents get put out of business.
Well, look, that's why they had to, guys, this is why they had to spell True News. TRU. They couldn't use the E, all right? That would make a claim about their news coverage, okay?
Walmart loves this. I mean, of course, they're going to close the stores because it's just too much hassle, and they don't want the insurance, the employee claims and whatnot. But overall,
yeah, Court 10K. I was talking specifically about the San Francisco stuff, and also security guards will detain you in a lot of places. It's just that there's a reason, like, banks tell tellers not to, like, pull a gun in self-defense if somebody, like, comes in, because escalating and like tries to steal money, because escalating the situation by trying to detain someone or pulling a weapon it's not worth it for these gigantic corporations. It's not worth it for Walmart. Walmart is, like, insured against theft. The insurance company just reimburses them. It's fine.
all. Walmart must love it. And all this stuff is there are, of course, some idiots.
Well, yeah, Walmart doesn't care. Look, guys. I've known a lot of people who work in retail, in like the management of retail. These large companies do not care if people shoplift. They're willing to take like basic like security measures to like dissuade people. That usually takes the form of like security guards, cameras, etc. But like overall, these companies are insured against theft, meaning that when someone comes in and steals a bunch of stuff or destroys property, they get reimbursed by the insurance companies that they pay to insure them. Wait, me going to try to stop a shoplifter got my leg broken and fired because of it? Holy shit, Natalie, are you serious? You got your leg broken and you were fired. That's insane. Yeah, in fact, like, most companies don't want you to do this because if you get your leg broken or get harmed, they might be held liable for it. It's really messed up. It's a really messed up system, but, like, you don't owe large companies your life or your health, okay? Under no circumstances do you owe these large companies your health. Let's see, fun fact, loss prevention. If one drops the stolen goods, the stores generally don't sue. The fucked up thing is that in places like Target, they will record people shoplifting and only report it after you've accumulated that a felony amount of theft. I did not know that. That's kind of crazy. Walmart's deductible is like $5 million, so they aren't claiming for that stuff, but they don't care because they are still making a ton of money. About 80% of retail shrink is internal. Yeah. I wonder if, like, total petty theft hits the deductible any given year, generally. I'd be interested to know that. But just keep that in mind when you see these stories about, like, people, like, conservatives especially, crying over, like, that video of, like, a security guard at a Walgreens just watching a guy take shampoo. Like, is it really worth it to try and stop a guy who just needs some fucking shampoo and who might be carrying a knife? Is it really worth it to, like, try and stop him and, like, detain him? Is it worth your life? Is it worth your health? To stop a guy from getting shampoo from a fucking Walgreens? No, it's not. Wait, what's Prime's topic today? Is pegging gay? What? What? Okay. It's only gay. Look, guys, it's only gay if you're being pegged by someone of the same gender. Okay. I can't believe that that's what they're talking about. Sorry, I got totally, my brain got totally derailed by that for a second. Let's finish watching Milo.
Yes. And paid for operatives who are in support of all this stuff, outside merely of the House of Representatives and the Senate. You brought to our attention, sweetheart, the tweet from one such bought and paid for activist. Tell us about this little row that's been kicking off on Twitter.
Oh, well, the black Americans and the right.
Oh wow, she got allowed to talk. Wait, is this the Nazi lady?
They have different opinions about Juneteenth and what it means. This morning there was a little tiff between.
Conflagration.
I love watching them fight. You know, I love it.
I take no pleasure in the misery of black America, but I take. Well,
Wait,
let me rephrase
who's
that.
this? This is the Nazi lady. This is the woman who told Blair White to her face that she was like basically a pedophile. Holy moly.
Yeah.
I try not to take too much pleasure, though, you know, Heavenly Father, forgive me, I cannot entirely erase the joy of watching miserable people whose opinions are entirely bought and paid for, tearing chunks out of each other, making themselves a ridiculous spectacle.
Right. Well, I'm Team Candace, though. I like her overall. This morning, I think we pulled up the tweet. She was not so happy about it.
I genuinely didn't know that she was on this panel.
Sometimes
About
Juneteenth. Sometimes I wonder when, if ever, Black America will wake up to the psychological warfare and prepare.
Oh yeah, she's like, when I say she's a Nazi lady, she's like, just like out and out like Nazi. It's insane.
Perpetual brainwash to believe everything is racist. Like you said, Milo, like when China starts talking about Black Lives Matter, how is it not obvious that we are political pawns? You know, it is, everything's like, seems to be a political just agenda to make people hate each other.
Well, yes, everything is political. That is correct. We live in a society.
And divide us. You know, I'm Team Candace on this. She said what you said. Look, you know,
I don't mind Candace either. I wish she read a book once in a while, and I think she wanders into a lot of unforced errors.
Yes.
But I think the general effect of Candace Owens is undeniably positive.
Yes, I think so too. Well, one person had a little problem with what she had to say.
You don't like her. I like her.
I am not.
I think she is a foxy little firecracker.
Who is this? Kimberly Classic?
Kim Klacik. She was the one in Baltimore that had the viral video with the red dress. She said, believe it or not, many in Black America are very aware the fight is classism rather than racism, which is true to a degree. It is.
Yeah, she's not wrong about
it. It is. Unfortunately, the loudest mouths with the largest platforms misrepresent the majority. This may come as a shock to you because of your lack of engagement with Black
from
people.
the 50s? This show is from the 50s.
Not a lot of people know this, but I know this directly and for a fact to be true. That whole Blexit thing is just fake.
That's true.
When Candace was getting speakers on stage to talk about how Black America was having this uprising against the Democrats, nonsense. You know, they had to bus people in from Atlanta, to Atlanta, I think, from surrounding areas, just so that it wasn't an entirely white audience. Candace Owens has a black audience of 0, except for people who hate watch her. And one of my favorite, I have to say, I do like Candace. I wish she, you know, wasn't so ostentatiously and unapologetically thick. But I do think she's basically a good thing. Anyone who annoys as many rappers as she does can't be entirely bad. And it's better. I
like how she
canceled. Better her than Tommy Lahren, right?
Yeah.
Because Tommy Lahren, you know, it was obvious. All she wanted to do was, you know, get a little slice of the rappers that she was annoying.
Right.
But with Candace, she's just good at getting under the skin.
You shouldn't be spending your straight anniversary talking about the odious people.
That's why, what? Wait. That's why they have a little #1 on the table with the little party hats. I've been wondering that about this entire video. It's his straight anniversary. What? What? I had no idea. Oh my gosh. It's the celebration of his 1 year of being straight. This is insanity. This is insanity, guys. What is he doing? He's grifting. That's what he's doing. Oh my goodness. What the fuck?
I really think it'd be important. It's Friday.
Should we scroll on?
I think the audience would be at a.
It's such a sad little display too, on such a large table.
Just be,
I could talk
if
forever.
You don't get to talk about your straight anniversary.
Well, thank you.
The fact that you're here is.
He so doesn't want to play into this. He's like, look at neither of these people at the table believe that he's straight. Okay. Like, look at this smile. Look at the way they're ribbing him. Like, they know it's not real.
It's because of this anniversary.
Right, well,
Let's talk about that holiday.
Fine.
It's a holiday, isn't it?
If you're going to say it, we're going to have to put the hats back on.
I'll buy. I'll buy
All right,
that.
fine.
Yeah,
We're
let's put
gonna
it back
look,
on.
all right,
Okay.
look, because we can be a bit silly on the show because I've got something to show you that is the opposite of silly. It looks.
You don't be too silly. You want to
a
work
little bit too
properly,
like a devil horn on you. I
Yeah.
have to say.
Okay. No, we don't want that.
We don't want any of that. It looks nice. It's a quite a fetching colour for you.
You woman makes you look like a devil. It looks quite nice on you though.
Straight anniversary.
All right, look, I could talk forever about the paid horrors of Turning Point USA and the corrupt monstrosities of the Daily Wire, but we won't do that. Instead, when you first heard of me on this program, it was
Yes, it's the Nazi lady, Natalie Marie. I was just freaking out about that because they actually didn't let her talk for like 30 minutes.
because I'd come in to talk to Rick about a journey that I've been on recently.
What?
Now, since
Wait. Look at the Chiron, chat. Look at that Chiron. Look at that Chiron. What is this? Look, I'm taking a screenshot of this. I cannot believe this is real. That's wild to me. Can I too be a reformed sodomite? Not if you're honest with yourself. Is this parody? No, it's really not.
Laura and I have been here sort of filling in and helping out. This is our last day of our little run of giving a helping hand to the team down here. It's very squish, very tearful moments all around.
I've greatly enjoyed.
Yeah. Ed, he's not miserable for 1 minute. He's like,
not for you.
I get my show back. I get my show back. That nasty, catty British man at the end.
Listen.
Look,
Straight anniversary. Tell me about it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to avoid the subject because I had I got quite choked
Yes,
up earlier
yes.
recording this video. You could sort of hear it at the beginning, and I kind of don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm like, I had my sincere moment for the day earlier, and I'm trying to avoid the subject desperately now. Anyway, I first arrived because I came to tell Rick, give my testimony to you guys about the journey that I'd been through recently. And Lauren, in a very powerful segment, I think on episode 3 or 4 that we did a couple of weeks back, gave you hers too. And today is indeed my straight anniversary. It's a year since I decided to put my old life behind me, and although I still may be working on striking out some of the mannerisms and verbal tics and possibly even hairstyles of my
You're working. Oh. I'm just trying to make sure that people don't think I'm gay. Like, I can't. This is so. What's a chyron? The chyron is like the little, on like news shows when they do like a little scroll at the bottom and that has like little subtitles. It's like that.
Former community. I am pleased to say that with one minor slip up, I am now a year into my journey.
Wait, I don't think you can claim to be a year into your journey if you had a slip up that involved like sucking a dick or something. I'm sorry. I don't think that counts.
Congratulations.
Not condescending at all.
Homosexualist.
I knew this was a mistake. Anyway, so I put a video together, thanks to the True News team, addressed really at people who haven't yet got as far in the journey. And so if you're watching this, and the sad tragedy of America is almost everybody at home knows somebody who describes themselves as gay, lesbian, trans, or something like that. So far has the cancer metastasized. So I made a video today addressed to those people, and I'd like to run it for you now. It's just a couple of minutes long, and then perhaps we'll just talk briefly about it afterwards, but as little as possible. And when we come back, we can remove the hats, I think. Anyway, here it is.
This is painful.
Today is my 1 year straight anniversary. It's a year from the day I said I was gonna...
Yes. Well, no, introspective penguin. You see, he's not gay. He used to be cancer. That's his point.
Put sodomy and lust behind me and live more closely according to God's wishes for me. And since I did that, everything in my life has begun to get better. I didn't wake up today especially celebratory, but rather prayerful, because I am aware that I have a responsibility to share this gift with others. I have only managed to get where I am, to do this, well, for two reasons really. One is prayer, appealing to our Heavenly Father for the strength to resist urges. And the other is thanks to you guys, the viewers, the listeners, both mine and here the True News family as well. It's also been thanks to the haters, the skeptics, the deniers.
You're welcome.
It's the scorn and doubt poured upon this, just as much in a sense as the love, that has made it a pleasure to prove people wrong. But it's also those of you who've been keeping me accountable.
Look, guys, I think if you have to keep praying to not be gay, you're probably gay. Straight people don't have to do that.
I've always said on the show, and sometimes in strong language, sometimes in a way that offends people, that tough love is the love that matters. And my readers and listeners have given me just that. They've given me a lot of tough love, and without that, I don't know if I'd be here today. Now, as I mentioned, I woke up in more of a prayerful mood than a celebratory one, because I know that I have a responsibility, a spiritual and moral obligation to make good to the people I've hurt, and to reach minds that...
Wait, you have to make good to the people you've hurt? You mean the queers?
I haven't touched yet, and offer them help, if I can, to embark on the same journey that I am currently engaged on. And this message today is
he
for
looks
you.
So gay. That would be because he is gay.
If you're one of those people that thinks of themselves as gay,
Kiravi.
but in the back of your mind, something's always not quite been right about it. You've sort of known that this is not really what you want. Perhaps you've looked at gay pride as I have, with a mix of consternation and horror, something
with a look of consternation and horror. Let's see. Yeah, the consternation and horror when he hosted, when he was the leader of the Straight Pride Parade in a glittering "Make America Great Again" hat and like a Harry Potter blazer. Yeah, he's looked on in horror at pride parades.
Something twists in the pit of your stomach when you see it. Well, if that does describe you, and even if it doesn't, I have good news for you, which is that Born This Way is a lie. It's propaganda. It's not true. You can get better. You can change. You can live as you were always supposed to. And when you do that, everything in your life will start to get better. It has for me. I've been very blessed in my life to have enjoyed enormous success in various endeavors, some failures in others.
I'm straight. Are the
And
conversion
now I
camps
feel
for me?
a compulsion to share.
Yes, the conversion camps for you are actually my community. My community will undertake the effort of transing and or gaying you, okay? Keith Sketches, thank you so much for subscribing and for being part of the community for the last 4 months. I appreciate you. And thank you for making this show possible, because I don't think I'd be able to soldier on and just watch this stuff by myself. I bet Milo likes to hear, "Oh, Daddy."
My journey and my message with others. A month or so ago, I tossed my engagement ring into the Pacific Ocean. And
God. About a month or so ago, I decided I was so straight that I would throw my engagement ring, my ring into the Pacific Ocean to prove how straight I am. Well, 29 Essex, he couldn't possibly be a bottom bitch anymore because he's straight. You got kicked out and banned from a Discord for idpol because I said I was Native American and we were talking about American imperialism. Oh, okay. Seems weird for them to do that, but okay, I guess. I'm sorry.
I moved to Florida. I'm here partly to share my testimony here on True News, but also to open a center, a clinic for other men who've been suffering from same-sex attraction.
Natalink, I think you have to just like really narrow your focus and maybe hold on to your ideas until you get on the panel. But yeah, this is just Milo Yiannopoulos, former gay, declaring that he's opening a gay conversion clinic.
Now we started raising money. Fundraising has begun. We, over summer, will be interviewing therapists and thinking about where in Florida we should call home. So we're not quite open yet. And therefore today, my message to you is, for now, merely one of hope.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If Milo took all of the money for that gay conversion center and just like took off with it, that would be a pretty... I would be in favor of that. That would be pretty incredible and pretty funny. Cluccini, thank you very much for the follow. When did Milo become a Nazi? Milo's always been a highly conservative. I don't know if he's technically a Nazi. He's mostly just a reactionary grifter.
This does not have to be your life. It can be better than this. Because I've been where you are now, and I know what keeps you up at night. I know what haunts and torments you, and it doesn't have to be the end. It doesn't have to just be this.
Oh, there were some email links. He's literally a neo-Nazi? Okay. Milo's your pastor, Real Roberto? Okay. Can you allow one link? Depends on what it's to. You just gotta whisper a mud. Natalink, I don't know who Spookerino is.
So, watch this space.
Also, just
Try
like
in whatever
chill in
small
the
way you can
chat,
to
okay?
make changes in your life. Seek out advice of your priests. Keep watching what we're doing here at True News, and you know, follow what I'm up to. And in the meantime, I love you, and I'm going to do everything I can to provide you with the tools you need to get better. Because what you feel at the moment is an inexorable and unavoidable sexuality is just a
Sonsol? Sonsol has open panels? I don't think Sonsol has open panels.
product of trauma that you might not even realize that you suffered, but you did. I'm going to help you. In the meantime, God bless you, and like I said, watch this space.
Thank you for sharing that, Milo. Really, I don't think you're going to know on this planet, on this earth, in your time, right, the impact of your decision. How many
I don't know what that means.
of those caught in the lifestyle of homosexuality, or even those caught in other addictions, are going to take your message, and they're going to take a leap of faith. I mean, for you, you did that. It's not going to be easy, as you've noted. It's been
Thank you.
It's been an arduous journey, to say the least. But look, Milo, we're here for you. Okay, we're here for you.
I'm getting quite into the habit of giving.
Well, it might be because you tend to like type in all caps a lot, and that makes people think that you're yelling. And if you're just gonna go on an open panel and yell, people are probably not gonna want you on there.
Way my own celebrations. I think a couple of years. No, it's,
So you
it's
need
true.
to- you
A couple
just
of
need
years
to
ago,
chill.
I was
Like-
working for Breitbart. I just
Like, Natalink, you're like up here right now. You need to be like at least right here. Yeah, just chill a little bit and people will be cool.
decided that I had more than enough in my life. I was going to give away my birthdays, 18th of October, and instead.
What do we give them away?
Well, I was going to stop celebrating my birthday, and I was instead on my birthday going to institute a new international holiday called World Patriarchy Day. And so I publish columns every year about the glories and wonders of patriarchy and how great it is and how we should all be proud and wonderful. It's becoming a habit with me. I'm going to have to one anniversary. I'm going to have to actually save for myself, but not this one.
Being
This
chill
one
is
too
rad.
important. No, I've got a long way to go myself, as people have been all too happy to write in and tell me.
People just writing in and telling him you're still too gay, man. Like, wow.
Yes, I'll comment under this video today. Said,
Your heart's in the right place. I think that's the main message to the audience or anyone who has an issue with this.
I posted this video.
Heart's in the right place. You do need to clean that Telegram feed up, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Do you know, I'll tell you, look, I know I have a bit of a potty mouth, and although I can give you a lecture about Augustine and Sermo Humilis,
Sure.
and explaining to people in the ordinary demotic language, that they will understand and be able to relate to,
That woman is there because she is a literal neo-Nazi, and she's there because this is a weird combination of news show and also religious dogma show. It's very strange. Hey, Natalink, don't commit suicide, okay? This is an anti-suicide channel.
ministering to them where they live and in the language they
Yes.
speak. I probably could dial down the cuss words a little bit. Probably,
Yes,
but
I'd imagine.
But just like, you're again, you're up here. You need to be at least right here. Like, take some deep breaths, dude. Go touch some grass or something. Like, take a step outside. Breathe in the night air. It's gonna be okay.
But I will pay tribute to myself for the extraordinary discipline that I show in not
Don't lick the
using
grass.
those kinds of words on air, because I've been quite good at that. Look, if you had worked at the Daily
Oh,
Telegraph in London
Lady
for
Ringard.
3 years.
Yeah, this
where
is the
C
absolute
word, which is about
worst.
the worst word you can say, especially in America, was like every third word. You too would be struggling. But I'm getting better every day in all kinds of things.
It becomes easier with time. I'll tell you, as being in the military.
Oh, you got a similar thing, right?
Well, yeah, every other word was a curse word. You actually were you were considered not be communicating effectively. If you did.
Core, why did you want to share this? What is this? Oh, is this like the history of Milo Yiannopoulos? Yeah. Okay.
Find a way to work in one of those colorful words.
She's got a mouth on her as
Oh,
well.
yeah,
she
okay.
does. Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
the camera's stopped. She sounds like an old fishwife.
Well,
What does that mean?
Lauren's use of curse words is not why she's here.
no, it's also non-existent. I have to
Well,
confess.
yes, okay, good. No, you
It's also non-existent. She's such a lovely person because she doesn't curse. She just tells people that they're pedophiles if they're gay.
lied about Lauren. What's wrong with you?
No, it's not lying if you say psych. It's not like
Psych,
if you say
I
psych.
didn't
As
hear
any
the psych.
were we not all born in the 80s? The 80s?
Yes,
so
late
we're children
80s.
of the 90s, so we know if you say psych, it's not lying.
Well, what I would like to hear from Lauren is
They both hate him so
your
much.
reason for being here.
Okay.
Now, our audience, we heard when we interviewed you a little small, a small sneak peek. Of your
At the end of every
testimony,
broadcast,
why
Milo
you
says
decided
psych.
to follow Christ
Doesn't count.
and not drug cartels or the conservative beast of a model and these other things. You've dedicated your life to seeking for the salvation
gay,
of
but
others,
said
to fulfill
psych.
the Great Commission. And I wanted to use today. It's Friday. We're going into the weekend. Many may watch this on Saturday and Sunday. Lord, tell me why you chose Christ as your mission.
Right. Well, something that I was thinking.
It's really Christ-like behavior, apparently, to tell, gay and trans people that they're pedophiles to their faces when they're not.
About all the time. You know how you have so many haters. They're like, "Oh, he's such a liar. This isn't true." And I knew right away. I knew right.
Yeah, guys, I don't need more proof that Milo is an active Nazi. Okay.
Right away.
Got haters too.
I was one of the first ones. I was like, "He's
No, Milo is not married to Don Lemon.
for real." I knew it. I knew it right away. But the difference is, his life was on full display. His sin was on full display for the world to see for years. And that is why it is harder for people to understand, we do change. Jesus does change lives. He is radically picking people up and just placing them where he wants them, especially now in this time. I actually chose a verse for you. I put it in your card, your anniversary card. Sorry, they don't have straight anniversary cards, but I wanted to share it with you.
Can you believe?
Before I
can you
dig
believe
in.
Hallmark? Can you believe this stunning omission in the Hallmark lineup? No straight anniversary.
Well,
cards.
I think the message inside is what makes the card, isn't it?
I
did write a nice note.
You did. It's lovely. I won't share all of it,
This is so weird and gross.
but I would love for you to read out the verse that you picked.
Yes,
just
so
inside
for
it.
you I chose Jeremiah 29:11, which reads, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not evil, to give you a future and a hope." And I truly believe God has such big plans for you. They're so big.
Yes,
You're gonna
this is
change
the
so
lady
many
who
lives.
debated Blair White.
And Satan's going to hate you for it, He is.
You didn't want to let me go
certainly
without a
is.
fight, but
He definitely wouldn't.
I do thank you for that
Satan is a modern construct. Jesus didn't believe in Satan.
heartfelt and beautiful tribute. But I
No, this isn't Lauren Southern. This is Lauren Witzke, who is she debated Blair White in an awful debate and basically called her a pedophile to her face. She's essentially a neo-Nazi.
I feel compelled to mention.
Oh, why are they all horrible? I don't know. I don't know.
That it was a very
a
elegant
curse.
way of dodging the question. So I'll talk about you since
Oh.
you talked about me. Thank you. We kind of encountered one another relatively recently, long time after the worst of your struggles.
Right.
And I think what you were alluding to a moment ago was that many of your struggles occurred in relative obscurity. You were not in public life yet. But when you saw Donald Trump and many of the populist nationalist uprisings in the country, and you felt that this was a critical time, that plus what you were going through drove you
Right.
into where you are now. And I have to say, I find I found your testimony in that episode we did, the first couple of episodes. If you go back, if you're watching this, it's about 2 weeks, isn't it? So gripping and
Bigger
powerful
than
and moving. You've
Ganymede.
become,
Thank
as
you
we've got to
very
know
much
one
for the
another over
follow.
last couple of weeks, a real inspiration to me personally and a great support for me. And she's a bit further along the road than I am, and she's I like to joke affectionately and call her a little firecracker, but she isn't. She isn't a firecracker. She's a Moab. She is a neutron bomb. Where she's just waiting for somebody to push the button, and now this button I feel like is being depressed.
Wait, what is this?
That I don't think it's any coincidence that the True News crew all got deathly ill, got very sick, right after they brought Milo onto their show, and he shared his testimony.
You best explain
we
what you
have to
mean by that. I
remember-
don't know where this is going.
Yeah, we have to remember that this is a spiritual battle as well. And our enemy retaliates. What this is, I believe, in my opinion, is that this was retaliation. We constantly battle demonic spirits, demonic attacks on ourselves, and we as Christians must stay equipped, but also we must continue.
Yeah. It's demonic when a pandemic disease infects your office building. Definitely has nothing to do with science. Yeah, it's the sin radiation.
Continue to stay prayerful as we walk into these times where the enemy, it seems like he has the upper hand, but it was no coincidence that Rick and his crew are in the situation that they're in because they stood for Christ and had the spine to bring Milo on and share his platform and his testimony. Milo was somebody who
science is the
belonged
devil?
to the darkness.
Gotcha.
He was already Satan. He was Satan's favorite sodomite, wasn't he? And
Well, probably.
we took him back.
Probably.
Satan's favorite sodomite. That's wild.
Christ took him back.
He likes music and good jokes.
Jesus. Okay. So to catch you up a little bit here, Ali Lux, Milo is having his straight anniversary, which means it's his 1 year anniversary of pretending to be straight for his conservative grift. And that's what they're talking about. They are congratulating him on his spiritual journey to become straight. And talking about how wonderful it is that he has overcome his sin.
And you are exploding out into the world, showering it with love and strength and inspiration to other people. And you've certainly done that to me, and I know that you've done that to many other people elsewhere as well. So your journey to Christ.
Yeah, definitely don't read into his body language here where he's looking anywhere aside from her and just looking down and kind of mumbling to himself. Don't read anything into that body language.
And watching the path that you took is one of the 2 or 3 people that I watch very closely for help and for tips. So thank you, and I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Except to say,
All right, well, I'll share a little bit.
Just before that, I have to say, she does try to sabotage me in little ways.
How's that?
Oh,
It's supposed to be my straight anniversary, so she buys me something called a fringed squawker. This is called fringed squawker.
He was like, what is a fringe squawker? I was like, I don't know.
Fringed squawker.
I think they're just trying to be creative.
A fringed squawker. It doesn't sound very heterosexual. Anyway, thank you, and please, you have the floor.
No, you're
There's a lot of things that don't sound very heterosexual here.
very welcome. It's a special day. It's a special day. I just wanted to, this is our last day here at True News. We are so blessed to be a part, like we were able to be a part of this for the last 2 weeks. This ministry.
Also, as part of his straight anniversary, Milo literally announced that he's opening a gay conversion center.
It's going places. It's for real. Amazing things are happening here. As you saw, where Wells Fargo specifically targeted me, shut down my bank account after they decided to have me on their show. I wanted to leave a message of hope to you guys. I wanted to leave a message of hope with the viewers and those who are seeking hope. I wanted to share a little bit about my story again. Like I said before, Milo's story was on full display for everybody to see, but mine was not. Not a lot of people know what I went through. I did go through years and years of addiction. I worked for drug cartels. Yeah, actually, Donald Trump's presidency was really important to me because everything he was saying about the Mexican cartels was like, this guy's right. Yeah, we do need a wall.
They're bringing drug addicts and,
I was
rapists.
Like, wait a second, that is where the drugs come from. Wait, these people are terrible murderers and rapists. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the things that Donald Trump said started to click with me. However, it was an encounter with Jesus Christ that changed me. Like I said in the last segment, like he met me on a dirty mattress. I wanted to show a picture of me this was maybe 3 years ago. 4 years ago. That was me when I fell asleep at a stop sign. Look what Jesus can do. I mean, this wasn't that long ago. I ended up going through a program called Teen Challenge. It was a year-long process. You can see there, I was out in the middle of the mountains, out in the middle of nowhere. Recovery is certainly a process, and it changed my life. It wasn't just something that I was just like, oh God, I'm here.
That's pretty cool. It just would have been great if you didn't become a neo-Nazi in order to overcome your drug addiction.
Healed right away. But we certainly...
What a glow up.
Yeah, I know.
What a glow
Look at
up.
that change.
Look at her now.
It's completely different. That was in the middle of nowhere. That's where I went to rehab. I was like, oh, dear Lord. That's in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah, and that is where I took the time.
That's why they write songs about the Shenandoah Valley. It's beautiful.
That is where I took the time to heal. It was a process. And that was before, God called me to politics, when I was still on drugs. I knew I was going to it. I knew what I was called to do.
What year was that?
It was in 2015, 2016.
Wow.
But I still kept using.
Sure.
I was like, oh yeah, I know. But I'd never assumed God would get me there. I was like, there's no way you can take somebody like me, somebody so dirty, somebody so addicted, somebody whose life was just broken. I had lost everything on account of drugs and alcohol and partying and being with the wrong people. But he still, I just had to submit myself to him. That year at Teen Challenge was the hardest year of my life. Let me tell you, it is like Jesus boot camp, but it works. I'm serious, and they are nationwide. Now, if you have a child that struggles with addiction, look into Teen Challenge. It's better, what is 1 year? It's a year-long program, but what is 1 year compared to the rest of your life? I walked out of those doors and God saved me, and I'm never going to, God willing, use again,
Do you remember the moment that you were humbled? The moment that really broke you to the point where you said, I need to get help?
I was laying on a jail cell floor, actually. I got arrested, fell asleep at a stop sign with drugs and everything on me. Thankfully, my charges ended up being dropped. I'm not really sure what happened there. It was some kind of technicality with it, but they ended up letting me go. And I also told them I was going to rehab. And the whole judicial system there was really gracious enough to allow me to go. So that is what I decided to do. I was but I still didn't go right away. I kind of lied
Cluccini,
at the time.
100%.
I was still using, and I was like, maybe I don't need it right yet. I can do this on my own. And it took months and months and months, and finally I just came to the end of myself, and I was like, okay. And I gave my life to God, and I was like, okay, God, you have to save me because I can't save myself. So I called the program, got myself into it, locked myself away, and just really dug into his word and everything that he had to say about me as opposed to what the world had to say about me. And this wasn't long ago. This isn't I have 10 years under my belt. God's working really quickly. Jesus works really quickly. And anybody that's out there that's hopelessly addicted, God can change your situation, but only if you're willing to submit to him. And that is what I did. And I ended up, and now I'm here. I'm a co-host on a show helping out. I ran for United States Senate. The media had a field day with that, absolutely. But I never lied. I never stopped telling everybody everything that Jesus did for me. And the name of Jesus, it makes them shake. It makes your enemies, they're terrified of it. There aren't many right-wing people, Republican people, who are willing to say the name Jesus Christ. And, I think we need to bring that back because I believe that is ushering a new era of whatever God's bringing us into next, and it's going to be very important. So, thank you so much to the viewers for having me on. I want to encourage you, just cry out to Jesus, man. He's so good. He's so real and he's so good. So I'm just in love. I love Jesus. I love him.
I love you for that. I love you for that.
Well, I hope this isn't the last time.
Well,
I'm sitting at the table with you two.
Look, we may or may not happen. May or may not happen. If you do want to see Witzkopolis back on True News, you know where to write. info@truenews.com. To help tell the bosses out the back that you really want us back, and who knows, it might happen sooner than you think.
Well, I'll be praying for, again,
Thank
this
you.
not to be our last encounter
look,
together.
You're going to be relieved next week. You're going to, praise the Lord, they're gone. But about 4 days after that, 4 days after that,
Yeah.
do you think they'll
And I
miss
know
us?
Rick is appreciated.
I think
This is
I
wild
think
to me.
I don't know if he'll miss
Well, maybe
us,
not him, but
I think Doc will miss us.
Doc will
maybe.
miss us. Doc's going to be...
Witzkopolis. How do you say your twin name?
Witzkopolis.
Witzkopolis.
is very pessimistic. I don't like it.
He's a Betty Bring down.
I am not a Betty
No.
Bring.
Okay.
I am not a Betty Bring down. Well, I try not to be a Betty Bring down. Anyway, info
That was an extremely straight thing to say.
Don't lie. Don't lie on Christian television.
I'm
ever again.
again. I am not a Betty.
He looks more like an energetic Edward.
Folks, good job. There's one. Folks, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I had to get one last one in.
Okay.
I love you, and thank you for being
Yes.
I
so
love you
gracious
too, brother.
and giving
I love
us
you too.
so much time to be mischievous and bringing in our sort of culture and entertainment angle.
What
to
other
the show.
day could you have gotten away with bringing these hats?
Well, not just
onto
that,
True
not
News?
just their hats.
I'm going to
but
hear.
they-
All right, we're done. We're done with this. I'm okay. Fun fact: the program she talked about there, Teen Challenge. We have that in Minnesota too. It has a long history of abusing people, especially women, who want to use things like birth control, or who just want to get away from the program for a little while. Like, there are reports of people trying to escape from these houses and not being allowed to leave. And on top of that, they're linked with conversion therapy. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. So if you're gay or trans, they try and convert you. It's really, really weird. Okay? Don't put your kids in Teen Challenge, and don't, if you're struggling with abuse, find a different program. Okay? Just please make sure that you're safe.